Hello, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope that this live video finds you well and in a wonderful mood. Today is a beautiful day. Today is day 11, day 11. And as I try to promise you, I will make sure this video is not that long, but also give you some really good nuggets in the few minutes. I try to do 10 minutes, but sometimes y'all know it's 20. So I already know this, but I'm working on it. Work in progress. However, today is day 11. This is Divine Alignment Part 2. And just to do a little recap, divine alignment is basically aligning what is already there. So we're talking about internal and external, okay? So divine alignment is basically aligning what is already there. So it's nothing you need to go by. It's all self-work, divine alignment, okay? So it's self-work, internal and external. And on day 10, we first talked about, for part 1, we talked about self-preservation, which means learning to be one with self and to honor yourself by knowing your limits, knowing your needs and your desires, okay? And so for today, the next area that we are going to discuss, because I'm going to jump right into it. So the next area that we're going to discuss today is gratitude. Basically, gratitude is all about the mindset of, is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? It's all in how you look at it. And one of the things that I do want to say in this section is, with gratitude, you cannot have gratitude if you complain all the time. I know that when I was in the midst of it, I did find myself constantly complaining, not just to myself, but to other people. So you do need to think about complaining and check yourself on complaining, because if you're complaining, you don't have any gratitude. Not only that, if you find yourself complaining all the time, what it does is it turns you into a victim mindset, okay? A victim mindset. And so a victim mindset is pretty deep, because let me tell you what that means. When you get to the point to where you have a victim mindset, this is what it basically means, and this is what you're saying to yourself on the inside. You're saying that you lost the faith or belief in the possibility that a certain thing will ever happen for you, whatever that is. Okay, so when you complain all the time and it turns into a victim mindset, that means you lost the faith and the belief that a certain thing will ever happen for you. Okay, so that's why you have to really check yourself and make sure that you don't get into the victim mindset. Also, if you have people around you that complain all the time, we got to remove them, because complaining is contagious. If you have, certain friends or associates or colleagues, good morning, Clay. Good morning, Cassandra. Thank y'all for joining. If you have certain friends and certain colleagues that, like to talk to you and complain to you all the time, and what you find is that when they come and they complain all the time, like, your spirit just gets weak. It's like it's contagious and it bleeds over. And next thing you know, you find yourself agreeing with what they're saying, understanding, empathizing, and now you feel that way. And we really can't afford that. When we're getting into divine alignment to get on that path, to get all the things that we desire in our life, you have to make sure that you have gratitude. You're not complaining. You don't have people around you that are complaining and don't see all the great things in life that there is. And the other piece is, if you're not focused on gratitude, then you're focused on negativity anyway. So you really have to look at yourself about that. So if I'm not focusing on what I'm thankful for, then that means I'm focusing on everything that I don't have. And I have found that when I focus on everything that I don't have, that throws me into a sea of depression and anxiety real quick. So we have to make sure that we self-correct when we find ourselves complaining all the time. And if people are around us complaining all the time, remove them instantly. Now, if it's family members, remove them. You thought I was going to say something different, but I'm not. Remove them until you can get to a place to where you're strong enough and one with self enough to where you know how to deflect it and how it doesn't bother you. Okay? All right. Next up, you have to be solid on what you believe about who you are and what you stand for. You have to be solid. In order to be in divine alignment, you have to be solid with that, because who you are and what you stand for helps to make the decisions in your life. Whether you know it or not, it does, okay? So basically what I would suggest here, and this is what I did when I first started my business and selling books and writing and talking, I had to develop a personal mission. And I had a really good friend who helped me to understand that and see that. And he sat down and talked to me and explained why this personal mission was important. And I will be honest that he was absolutely correct, because now that I have the personal mission, it determines what I'll connect myself to. So if you ask me to do something that doesn't fall into the guidelines of what my personal mission is, then I can't do it. Okay. So it allows you to be able to understand, okay, is this something that's going to help on the path of where I'm trying to go? Or is this something that's going to set me back? Is this something that I believe in? Does it honor me and what I believe in? Does it stick to the fact that I want to help people and I want to leave an impression? Because if it doesn't, then the answer is no. Okay, so you want to do your personal statement, and basically your personal mission statement articulates your values and who you are. So it's basically a plan that helps guide you as you're on this pathway. And you, like, again, I would say this again, you use it to make decisions, and it also ensures that you are in divine alignment to receive all that you are to receive, because it's your pathway, it's your blueprint. This is my mission. If what you're asking me to do or be a part of does not honor my personal mission statement, I'm going to have to decline that. Okay? All right, next. Master your emotions. And that one is a difficult one. And really, I could write a whole book on emotions. Okay. Emotions are something else. But the reason why I'm asking you to learn how to master your emotions is because they lie sometimes. And I know people will say, well, how can they lie? I was really upset that what that person did really hurt me. Yeah, but for myself personally, I am very, very emotional. And I know this about myself because I've been with myself. I've sat with myself. I understand how I work in certain instances. So I know that I'm emotional. So because I know that I'm emotional, I have the tendency to over exaggerate my emotions in sometimes simple situations. Does that make sense? So it really wasn't that big of a deal necessarily, but because I'm overly emotional, I felt it even harder. My emotions told me I did. But the truth of the matter is, it did not. It was the same situation, but because I have extra emotions, I'm extra on certain things. And because I know that now, I have to watch what I do. So one of the rules that I put in place until I learn how to master my emotions is this. I never make a decision within 48 hours of when my emotions were at the highest. So if I'm upset about something and I need to make a decision, I have to wait 48 hours. I'm not going to do it. And usually in 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours, my emotions are back down again and I can think clearly. When you're really emotional, you're not thinking clearly. That's what I mean by they lie to you. Your emotions will make you take a whole different pathway that's going to satisfy yourself. That's it for that moment. So, when you pull into the parking lot, and this is just a simple example. You pull into the parking lot, you've been waiting on a space, the person pulls out and somebody pulls in there real fast. Now your emotions are gonna say, go to the back of the car and pull it out of that spot, like literally take your hands and pull it out of the spot, or either park behind them so they can't move. But that's not true. We're not gonna do that. You have to learn how to get your emotions in check. All right. Number 5, stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. We make excuses about where we are. We make excuses about what happened. We make excuses every time we feel like we fell short. Or we'll make an excuse in advance just in case we fall short, so that we already knew that we might fall short. So then that makes us feel better that we fell short, but it really doesn't. But it justifies to you that this is why I fell short. You see how crazy that is? Why do we do that to ourselves? We don't need to make excuses. So excuses are twofold. And this is what I want you to remember every time you make an excuse about something. It's twofold. And these are not good. So just remember this. The first part is the excuses for you. The first part of it being for you is because, I'm going to read this. It is negative self-talk that you developed to help you get over something you are having a hard time forgiving yourself about. Negative self-talk that you develop to help you get over something that you are having a hard time forgiving yourself about. That's what an excuse is, period. The excuse doesn't make the thing right at all. It's just negative self-talk for you to help you try to forgive yourself for something you feel like you fell short of. That's part one. Part two is the excuses for other people. And I totally disagree with this because it goes against everything that we're supposed to stand for when we honor ourselves, okay? So part two is this. When you give excuses to somebody else, to be the reason of why you didn't excel or why you're not where you are or why it happened the way it happened, whatever. But when you give an excuse to somebody else, this is what you're doing. You're giving them an excuse because you feel you owe them an explanation. Why? When you do that and you give somebody else an excuse about why something didn't work out, you basically are saying you value their thoughts and their opinions more than you value your own. And that makes no sense when we are one with self and we honor who we are and what we stand for. This is why it's important for you to be solid with who you are. Even if you don't know your life's purpose, that has nothing to do with it. That will come to you. But this is about being solid and understanding who you are and loving who you are. Because then you will know you don't owe anybody an excuse. I love when I see stuff that says unapologetically, because that's how you should be. You don't owe them an excuse about why something is not the way it is, about why you are. Change it if you want to change it. And if you're not going to change it, keep moving. Okay? So in closing, it's time to get in divine alignment so that you can be on the path to receive all that you wish and desire and hope for. Okay? So divine alignment will help you to be on that pathway so that you can receive those things. So I hope you will consider everything that we talked about today, because divine alignment is important as we move forward and as we try to get all the things that we set out to do. Okay, go back and look at day 10 and look at day 11, which is today, because you have part 1 and part 2, so you can kind of put them all together. But I hope I gave you some good information as we move forward. And so that is it for today. I will see you tomorrow for day 12. We are moving, and hopefully you are making some changes as we go. Have a good one. Peace and blessings always.